Adam and Eve story is believed to be false, not true, fictional, because we never actually seen the Garden of Eden. But today that might change. Today we're going to try to find evidence of Adam and Eve's existence or Garden of Eden existed. In fact, it's recorded that the Mesopotamians were the first civilization documented that we have, roughly taking place in the times of 4000 to 3500 BC. But not only here 4,000 years ago, they were the world's first urban city, home to the Babylonians, the Ashurs, etc., creating most of the math, architecture, astronomy. But there's something interesting about their location. Their location was between the Tigris and Euphrates River, but as well, the Mesopotamia means between two rivers. See, what makes their location so interesting is that there was a Dr. E.A. Spicer, who studied the story of the Garden of Eden, taking place in Genesis 2nd chapter, verse 8 through 14. It supposedly describes where the Garden of Eden was. So, given the info from Genesis, Dr. E.A. Spicer took an educated guess because 2 rivers out of the 4 that were stated flow southeast from eastern Turkey. But the question sparked, where are the other 2 rivers? The Gihon River took place in the land of Kush, which is now known as modern-day Iran. But funny enough, the Gihon River was east of the Mesopotamian civilization. But now it's only left with 1 river to be found, where's the Pishon River. The Pishon River is assumed to be now, in modern day times, dried up. So does that mean the Garden of Eden took place near the first civilization ever documented? Maybe. But let's see, is there any proof of us coming from the dirt or the earth? Now, when you look this up, it comes up as no. There is no evidence of us coming from the dust or being formed from the dirt, anything like that. But something very interesting does come up. It is found that Charles Darwin, the man who created the evolution theory, questioned his own theory, asking, why, if species have descended from other species by insensibly fine gradations, why do we not everywhere see unnumberable transitional forms? Now, what is the Charles Darwin theory? To keep it simple and short, it's believed that species change over time through natural selection, which is species with better traits survive in an environment to then pass on those better traits. But as he said, why do we not see an innumerable amounts of changes? I came across a guy named Vernon Cupps. Vernon Cupps is a nuclear physics researcher. He has a PhD in nuclear physics. And he stated that given the fact that we can't go back in time and actually see where man came from, we are regulated to analyzing the observational data and forming an opinion about whether it supports or refutes a particular hypothesis. But he said something very interesting. Vernon Cupps stated, the Bible is the only eyewitness history that records the origin of man. Any other historical record that we have, he states, abruptly cuts off 5,000 years ago. So with Vernon Cupps stating that no document goes before Genesis, the question sparked if we actually came from Adam and Eve. So after doing some digging, I come across an article titled, Reading the Entrails of Chicken Molecular Timescale, blah, 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 blah. But a scientist in that article states she sees a problem with molecular clocks. What is a molecular clock? A molecular clock are tools to measure genetic mutation in DNA to estimate a time since different species diverged from a common ancestor. So to keep it short and simple, basically saying they use molecular clocks to basically tell how much time has passed between the different species in their DNA. So given that, it was then stated by Dr. Purdom that 2 humans have a 0.1% difference in their DNA. So compared to other species, that's very low. But that's not all. It's also stated that at a DNA level, humans only vary slightly, and only a portion of the variation separates continental population. Meaning, the DNA only just a little bit differs because of different continents that everybody lives in. But Dr. Purdom is not done yet. The doctor finalizes by saying, with all the stuff about DNA and with all the things with biblical history, we had to be created 7,000 years ago. Why? Because our genetic variation is too small for it to have been millions of years that passed.